Hey team, here's a personal one today. I'm going to share my story and how I overcame my addiction and how you can too. So before I do, just want to show you just on a little walk in the forest here. Very, very peaceful. And got my coffee here too. And I just wanted to jump on really and communicate and share my journey and how if you're going through something similar, if I can escape and my clients can break free from the addiction, so can you. So let's rewind some time. I've been sober now for 2.5 years. Yeah, about 2.5 years. And I've learnt a lot through my own personal development with my own coaches, through the hypnotherapy course and qualification that I went through the mental performance coaching that I've been doing, through the addiction work that I've been doing, and just through life in general. And if there's one thing that I could share with you, is that every single person, whether it's me, my clients, or other people, they all went through something similar to you. They all thought to themselves, can I do this? Oh, am I ever going to come out on the other side? Is it even worth it? Maybe they have fear, like what does life actually look like outside of this addiction, because this is what I'm so used to. So I want to just share with you my story, and you may be able to benefit from this. So let's rewind probably 7 years ago now, roughly. I was the typical lad that was going to parties, drinking, doing drugs. Never really saw it as a problem. And this would be a weekend thing, right? I would go out on the weekend, get fucked up, and not really think it was a problem. As a young lad, it's not really seen as a problem. But then I started doing it more and more and more. And whenever an event would happen in my life, whether that be a death or a breakup or a difficult period in my life, I would turn to the substances. But it still wasn't really a problem because, I'm just doing some drugs on the weekend. I'm just having a few drinks. Like, it's not really an issue. So, first of all, I want to check in with you, and I want to help you raise your level of awareness and your understanding as to, does that sound familiar? You used to use it on the weekends. Maybe it's going for a beer, or maybe it's going to work parties and you kind of just do it to just have a good time. But then you start turning to the drink or the drugs when you have a difficult day at work, or when you have an argument, or a deal goes wrong at work, or whatever it is. You then turn to these as a coping mechanism, right? And that's what happened to me. I turned to these substances and to the drink as a coping mechanism for whenever something went wrong or bad in my life, I turned to drink and drugs, basically. And that's not good, because life throws challenges at us, right? And we're always going to experience difficulty. And we can't just keep turning to drink and drugs to escape. But anyway, I had a breakup that happened in my life, and I ended up turning to drink and drugs throughout this breakup. I wasn't at the emotional maturity. I didn't have the emotional maturity to understand that this was actually a bit of a problem. I was kind of just lost, I suppose. And I was stuck in this cycle of drinking, doing drugs and getting on it for probably 2 or 3 years, maybe more. Constant, week after week after week. Finish work, get the bag in. Have a stressful day at work, get the bag in. Have a good week at work, get the bag in. Like, it was just constant yo-yo of just going round and round and round in circles. And whenever something good went in my life, I got the bag in. Whenever something bad happened in my life, I would also get that in too. So this was clearly a problem, right? And I was actually doing this with 2 close friends of mine, and rest in peace, Jack and Sean. They're no longer with us today. One of them died at 23 and the other one died at 26. I actually went to the other one's funeral a few days ago, and they lived a similar life to me. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because we never think it's going to catch up on us. We never think it's going to be us, right? But it is. It creeps up on us. And part of the work that I do today is because of those 2 lads. Is because I want to save lives, right? This work saves lives. And I'm going to get onto that in a minute. But if you are currently struggling with addiction, if you are currently in that cycle of rewarding, of escaping, of using drink and drugs for whatever challenges life throws at you, good or bad, then I'm going to drop a link in the comments, in the description. I want you to book a call. And this isn't a sales call. This isn't anything like that. This is a genuine connection call, because I want to make sure that you have the support and the tools that you need to break free from this. So I'll drop it in the comments. But anyway, so that was my life for years and years and years. And I went to a festival in Croatia called Hideout Festival, and I knew something had to change after that. I was going out every weekend. I was going out every day. I was getting on it. I was getting fucked up, and I was just in the constant cycle. And after the hundreds of hours of coaching and therapy and everything that I've been through myself personally, I can now see that I was actually escaping and avoiding a life that I didn't actually enjoy living. I was living weekend to weekend, and partially that was my job. I was working in carpentry at the time, as a self-employed carpenter, and I didn't enjoy it. But then I also had life challenges thrown at me too, which I just turned to drink and drugs to handle. And I got to Hideout Festival, and it was just a conveyor belt of drink, drugs, getting on it all the time. And it was no good. So I came home and I thought, there has to be more to life than this, surely. So I booked a one-way flight to Bali, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and I went traveling for a bit. I came home and I still ended up getting on it. I returned home on like December 22nd, I think it was, just in time for Christmas. And I came home and I still was using. I've done all of these podcasts, books, like gurus, shamans, yoga. I did everything. I went to meetings. I saw people that were on a sobriety journey and all of this stuff. But none of it helped. It helped, but none of it changed anything. Because the discomfort that I was experiencing in my internal world, the emotions that were manifesting into addictions, the mental discomfort that I was experiencing with a racing mind that wouldn't switch off, constant thoughts of drink, drugs, partying, and challenges that I was facing in my personal life, like these all added to the mix. These all added to the addiction. And it breaks my heart thinking about how lost and sad and anxious and stuck I was. There's pictures on my social media of me like crying in bed at night. Like I was broken. I was truly a lost young lad. And I had to reach out. It got to a point where I was like, enough is enough. Like I have to reach out. So I reached out to Dan, who was my hypnotherapist. And I've actually got him coming on the podcast next week. That'll be a really sentimental episode. So keep an eye out for that. But I reached out. I said, I've got to get help. I have to. And I went through a 4-month program with Dan. I ended up actually working with Dan for over 2 years. But anyway, that's a story for another day. And from the second hypnotherapy session that I had, just for context, Dan is also a cognitive hypnotherapist, like I am. Dan is also an addiction coach, like I am. So Dan walked me through the journey, walked me through the process of facing my demons head on. It was scary. I was scared. But as Robin Sharma says, growth is always messy at the start. Growth is always hard at the start, messy in the middle, and beautiful at the end. And that's what it was. It was scary at the start. I was really scared. Like, what is life now going to look like on the other side? Us as humans, we don't like uncertainty. We don't like not knowing our path. We crave certainty, right? As cavemen, as tribesmen back in however many years ago, uncertainty equaled danger, right? If you didn't know where your cave was, or if there was lions coming after you, it would equal death. So we're hardwired to not want uncertainty. But I knew that there's a reason why I'm getting pulled into this addiction, yeah? There's a reason why I'm using these substances to avoid difficult emotions and thoughts and feelings, and I knew something needed to change. So anyway, I worked on a 3 or 4 month program with Dan. And from that second hypnotherapy session, I've not touched a drug since. Actually, or a drink. That's by choice, but drugs specifically. And that changed my life. And it changes all of my clients' lives too. Like, he, calling him A for client confidentiality, but he came to me in a similar position. He's a very successful business development manager in a sales company. He came to me because he was drinking and doing drugs. His initial addiction was cocaine. He stopped that, but then he picked up an alcohol addiction. And this is something, again, that I see with people, is that they stop one thing and pick up another. Because that discomfort we experience within us, it's still there. It's just manifested in different addictions, right? So, again, from his second hypnotherapy session, he hasn't touched it since. We're still working together. It's been 3 or 4 months now. He's sober, and now we're pushing him to new heights. He's gaining promotions. He's just signed over £1 million contract with a big company, and he's absolutely smashing it. And the common theme that I see with myself, with my clients, and with people that break free from addiction and help and make it last for a lifetime, is that they do the internal work. And what I mean by the internal work is, I mean they actually face their challenges head on with a specialist. They actually work through their emotions and process their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings, rather than avoiding with the drink and the drugs or whatever the addictive substance or behavior is. So this is exactly why I've built my program, right? Because of the foundations that I learned within my own process. And I've been testing them with clients for over a year now. And it works. Every client that comes in and they're committed, they do the stuff that I tell them to do. We get coached. I coach them, and they get coached. And if they follow the process and the frameworks and the tools that I give them, they come out on the other side too. And so can you. So that's really an overview of my journey before I do what I do today. So this is where it now gets exciting. So from that second session, I said to Dan, I'd love to do what you do, mate. How do you do it? What did you do? And he pointed me in the direction of the cognitive hypnotherapy qualification that I'm qualified in. And I signed up. I think it was about a £4,000 or £5,000 investment after just spending £4,000 with my other hypnotherapist, with Dan as well. So that was a £10,000 hit coming out of the addiction. And this is why I believe in the work that I do, because I've invested tens of thousands of pounds in my personal development. And this is why I get the results that I do, because I work with the best coaches that I can. I have the best people in my corner to support me in the journey that I'm facing. And anyway, I'd invested like 10k that year, maybe more. And I qualified. I was going through a year-long training, doing 100 plus hours of free therapy. So I would reach out to people and say, hey, I'm training. Do you want to work on blah, 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 blah? And I would do some free training with them before I even got paid, because I was so focused on honing and being a specialist and mastering my craft. I really wanted to make a dent in the world. And I went through my training for a year, worked with people for free. And as soon as I qualified, I left my sales role. Which actually I was doing very, very well in. I had just been promoted twice. I was top of the leaderboard in the whole company of about 150 people for a good couple of months. I was winning awards up at the front. I'd have to go and collect a trophy for like Employee of the Month in front of the whole business. But there was just something deep within me that I knew that I wanted more. I wanted to live a life of true purpose, meaning, passion, and ultimately changing the world, changing lives in the world. Like, that is what truly lights me up. You could offer me any amount of money to go and work in a corporate role over the work that I do today, and I wouldn't choose it for the world. I would do this every day and twice on a Sunday for free if I had to. I love the work that I do. I love changing people's lives, and this is what lights me up. So anyway, when I qualified, I left my sales role and I went full-time coaching. And I've been full-time coaching now for a while. And during this time, I've been mental performance coaching for actually the company that I was a client for. I was doing mental performance coaching for them as a coach. I've worked with 6-7-figure business owners achieve mental performance. And there was a theme. I saw a lot with these business owners they actually experience some form of addiction too. Like D, my client, he is a gym owner, and he was vaping at work, right? He was living a stressful life as a business owner, and he was using the vapes to essentially get through the day, basically. And it was only through the work that we did in the level, raising his level of awareness and depth, that he actually understood that this was a coping mechanism for some discomfort that he was experiencing. And we did the work, and he's like 6-7 months sober of vaping now. His business has taken off. He's calmer, he's happier, he's enjoying his work a lot more. And that's just from the work that we've done. And that's just one of many business owners. But anyway, the point of the story is that most business owners experience difficulty. Whether you're in a sales role, a corporate role, running your own business, whatever it is, you experience difficulty, right? My job and my program is designed to give you the tools, the frameworks, and the support to be able to deal and experience these difficult times and emotions and thoughts, and not have to turn to these external vices. You can deal with them internally, and you're so good internally that the external world doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a bad day at work, or your boss stresses you out, or you have a client that wants to leave, or whatever it is, right? Like, you're so good within you that you don't need anything else on the external world. And that's the work that I do. And this has been crafted from the mental performance coaching with the business owners, the hypnotherapy that I've mastered, and well, I don't say mastered, but that I've worked through, and that I've been practicing for a while, and the addiction work that I've been doing with my clients too, along with the numerous amounts of hours that I've done on my own personal development. This is what's created my program. And the reason why I do what I do today is because I've walked your path. I've been in a sales role that I've not liked. I've been in the midst of an addiction, not knowing how to get through the next day, not knowing how to get through the next hour. I've been there and I've done it, right? And I wanted to share this story today because this is a really nice way for you to see that change is possible if you do the work, if you commit, if you put your mind to it. And some of these investments are scary, right? My coach once told me, I said, I don't know if I can invest this, you know. He said, Jake, the level of investment is supposed to scare you. If it doesn't stretch you financially, not so much that it cripples you and that you can't pay the bills, but just a little bit where it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, or you experience some level of discomfort, that's actually a good sign, because you're committed and you're going to make it work. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, I do come home after a stressful day in the office and I do reach for the drink, or I get the substances in, or I have a good week at work and I do reward myself with drink and drugs, or I do vape because I have a stressful day at work, or I am addicted to work, or I'm addicted to money, or I do feel this kind of like feeling that there's something off, but I'm not sure what. I want you to hit me a message on Instagram or my email. I'll drop everything in the comments. But I've got the 3-step framework that I take my clients through to break free from any addiction that I can send to you for free. that will help you understand a little bit more about what's going on. So yeah, I just wanted to share this video because it's a bit of an off-the-cuff video. I'm a bit lost in this forest right now. It's a gorgeous day. Yeah, a little bit lost, but I'll find my way. But I just wanted to jump on and share this story with you, because when you're in the midst of it, no matter how much of an impact it's having on your life right now, sometimes we think, oh, it's not really having that much of an impact, so like, do I really care about it? But trust me, the definition of an addiction is essentially participating in behaviors despite knowing the negative consequences and not being able to stop. That's basically what it is in a nutshell. So if you find yourself telling yourself, oh, it's only a couple of beers at night, ask yourself, can you commit to 30 days of no drink, of no drugs, of no addictive behavior, whatever it is? And really be honest with yourself. So, like I say, I wanted to just share this story. This is a raw, off-the-cuff video because I'm speaking to a lot of people, and this story may help some people understand actually there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, if I can go through a journey like that, if my clients can go through a journey like that, and you're in that phase of kind of in the midst of it, maybe struggling to get out of it, then there is a way out. There is a way out, I promise you. So that's it for today. Like I said, just a raw video that I wanted to jump on and hopefully spread some positivity. Hopefully you see value. I want you to give it some support, like drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, send it to someone that you feel like may benefit from hearing my story, because I can guarantee that there's a lot of people out there that don't know this help is even out there. And I truly want to help as many people as I can. And that starts with you. So I hope you saw value in today. And like I said, just a bit of a off-the-cuff, raw video that hopefully helps some people. Sharing my previous life and story compared to where I am today. And I want you to use it as a bit of inspiration. You can be in a very successful role and still be unhappy. You can be really enjoying life on the outside, but internally you can feel a bit lost or unhappy or unmotivated or stuck. This is what I see a lot with business owners and high performers, is that on the external world, they seem happy. They've got this big job, they've got this big salary, they're in the office and they're happy and smiling. But when they get home, that's when it hits. So if that is you, then just know that there is support out there, and my DMs and my messages are always open. Peace and love.